Oh, Kakamia.
Okay.
Yeah, he's that's my nephew. It's my brother, my deceased brother's son.
Okay.
He's from South Africa, so I just got him December the 20th.
Oh, good.
This is his second time being here, but he's supposedly here to stay
Oh,
for his mom, but we'll see.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
he's here until he's not.
That's a big,
How we're dealing with that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big thing you're doing for him.
Oh my
Flight
gosh.
down that way. My brother went down there. There's some big national park down there that he went to. He really liked it. It's like, I don't know. I didn't really look at the map, but they went from, where did they fly at? Did they go Atlanta, Amsterdam, and then down the, some like
That's
weird
what I
route.
said. I said, we're official.
We went Atlanta
It's a
to
long flight.
Doha, Qatar, and then down to
Oh,
South
okay.
Africa when we went. And it was like 15 hours.
16, and he does it by himself, so.
Oh,
Wow.
man. Beauty.
Yeah, he's done it 3
That's-
times by himself.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm going to kick things off. So welcome to the February BPAB, Bicycle Pedestrian Board meeting. So I'm excited to kick off 2024. Sorry we had to cancel the January meeting due to weather, but we have a full house. All of our members are here, so I'm excited to start 2024 new. I'm going to do a quick roll call, and then we'll, once we run through that, we have all members present and accounted for. So we have Kaylin, Keith, Adina, Lori, Carol, and Kimby is a new member. So while we're kind of doing that, I'm going to just go around and we'll introduce each other. So I'm Terry Coddington. I'm the Bicycle and Pedestrian Board kind of chair, staff member. I'm the coordinator for the city of Conway. And so basically I'll kind of oversee the board and, present projects and agendas for you all to help us with. Projects that it could be anywhere from projects that the city has in process, reviewing plans for streets. We have a complete streets program or planning committee. It could be our bicycle master plan. There's a whole host of things between, potentially bringing events to Conway to, our zero vision strategy that we'd like to work on and safe routes to schools and things like that. So I've been an avid cyclist for better part of my life and kind of if each of you tell something special about yourself, I just completed my first 24-hour race last weekend. So if I sound a
You
little
did really
hoarse,
well, too. I saw.
I sound a little hoarse. I think I'm still dehydrated. So it was 230 miles.
Wow.
So
Where was it?
Tucson, Arizona. Yeah.
wow.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, Keith, we'll go around the room.
Keith Duncan, retired Air Force, lived in Colorado Springs for a long time, but biked since I was probably 6, and biked to high school, biked when I was in the military to the different bases, did, I don't know what they called them, international distance triathlons for a while, did ride the Rockies. And as I approach 70, I have an electric bike now. And I love it.
Yeah.
So my wife and I do electric bikes. We go to Bentonville. We're excited about getting more trails around here.
Mhm.
And that's why I joined last year to be part of it because we like biking and I like electric bikes. Anyone else with electric bikes in here?
No, I need to try it.
I rode an electric bike
To
today.
try it.
Yeah, I like it.
Hi, I'm Carol Delaney, an entrepreneur. So I have got I wear many hats. So it's a long. I don't have enough time to listen. So I'll cut all of that out. And I started running back in 2012, 2010, maybe marathons, halves. Got some certifications in teaching different type of classes, and then started bike riding probably 4 years ago. And so I have my little bike or my big bike or whatever bike. And the reason why I joined is one day or one evening I was driving down on Main and almost hit a pedestrian that did not have any license. So it scared me so bad and it scared him. And then I went back and made sure he was okay. And then we started talking about, wearing some gear and some lights. And that's the reason why I decided to join and to make it more of a awareness about that. And I love Conway, and I love our trails and everything else. So everything else about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm Medina White. I've lived in Conway since 2007, but grew up in Conway counties. This was kind of like the big place to come. So, and I worked for our chamber for 11 years, but now I'm doing entrepreneurship things. So it's kind of, yes. And I actually met Carol through that Brennan walking group. I was the walker, she was the runner. But like during that time, I think I did not during that time, from probably about 2012 until now. I probably did about 25 Ks, but mostly walking, and then one half, never again. But so anyway, they got me out into the streets, and also, I live in East Conway, so I kind of noticed we would meet in West Conway or Midtown to do our walking, and we don't have many sidewalks over there, but slowly that seemed to change coming over there. So I've enjoyed using our trail system here for mostly walking, and I have a 5-year-old now, so we go to the parks a lot, so I enjoy seeing the trails from his perspective and engaging and all that, so
Yes.
good to be here.
I'm Lori Ross, and I grew up in the same part of Conway
That's
County
right.
as Dina. We went to the same high school, a few years apart. I've lived in Conway for 30 years, probably, and I rode a bike as a kid a lot until we moved to the country, and I didn't know anything about gravel riding or anything like that. But then it wasn't until I grew up and got older, I got a big bike and the kind you clip in, and I love it, and haven't been able to ride as much this last year because I started a business and it really started cooking, and so that was good, but it really was cutting into my riding time, and so I'm trying to figure out that. I like endurance rides, and I've got a couple on the schedule for this coming year, so that means I need to get well and get back out there on the bike to get ready for those. So, I'm an executive coach, and I do consulting and fundraising and marketing.
I'm Kalen Camp. I'm a bank examiner with the FDIC. So I do quite a bit of traveling because of that. But I don't think I've missed too many meetings at this point.
You're still here. You're still here.
I haven't been kicked off the board yet. Thankfully. I don't know. I like biking. That's kind of my draw to the group. I have a 3-year-old though, so kind of like Adina, I don't get to bike as much, but it does also take me to the trails and the parks around here quite a bit more, which is good. So that's my draw to it at least.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm Kimby. I've just been in Conway. Well, I say just, but I've been here for probably 15 years, I guess. I work at Gainwell Technologies. I've been there for 10 years. I'm a manager there in our call center. And I also am an esthetician. So I have my own business down over on Amity. And now I have him. So my life has changed drastically since December. But I've been riding probably about 5 or 6 years. I didn't get a chance to ride much last year. My mom just passed in November, so we've had a rough year. So I didn't get to do much riding this past year. But I initially wanted to be a part of this particular group because I do want to get back on my bike. But I also have seen so many accidents and so many injuries. And so I just want to be a part of making it a safer ride in Conway, mainly, but also just to see, what can be done to increase the rideability of Conway, because I like to go for a lot of distance, and I feel like safely, you just don't really.
Yeah.
You have to go, kind of some sketchy.
Yeah.
So just that whole situation is what drew me to the group.
I appreciate you sharing that. We all have very common interest to make Conway a better place to live, a safer place to recreate and ride. And so I just kind of want to start this off by saying thank you for being here. Whenever we do the meetings, just ask that you be present and focused on this, and we'll hopefully have a lot of fun going through some of the projects. I have some ideas I'm going to kick out, but First, I'd like to just say that we do have a quorum, and we'll kind of follow the agenda. And we need to, since we haven't met in December or January, I'd like to move to approve the November minutes, which are in your binder under the green tab.
Wow.
Just because it's been a while, and special thanks to Felicia Rogers for printing this out and making this. So in case you had any questions of what we went over or anything, so.
I move that we approve.
Second.
In a second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so then November minutes are approved. Back in November, we had some special guests, Felicia Rogers and Shawana Rogers. And we just talked about pretty much what we're doing here is kind of restructuring this and making sure that we're all on the same page going forward with the Bicycle Pedestrian Board. We're not going to do it tonight, but in your binder is the bylaws for the BPAB. I just ask that at your own leisure that you take a look at them, review them, get familiar. There's not going to be a test or anything on this, so but it just kind of gives you an idea of how things are supposed to run. We also one of the things too is we've talked about in the past. We wish we could meet virtually. We can't. We have to vote in person. So it's really important that when we schedule the meetings that we have a quorum. And we'll be asking, you should start seeing, just to set expectations, you should see an agenda for the next meeting, like a week before the meeting.
Okay.
And kind of as a reminder, and that way you're familiar with what we're going to be talking about. And also just kind of a reminder, like, is everyone still able to make it? That way, because there is an attendance expectation that if you don't meet the attendance requirements, that people have been removed from the board. And so I'm trying to refresh my memory here. I think is it 4? If you miss 4,
A year. 12 months.
yeah. So just a refresher on that. If it looks like we're not going to have quorum, I will cancel the meeting, and then that won't count against anybody. If we're not going to have quorum, we'll cancel it. Any questions so far? Next up is old business, some of the things that we were talking about in the past before we get into the new stuff. Also for members, there will be a window open in the fall to get some more new members. We'll stick with what we got for 2024, and then in the fall, there'll be an application open. So hopefully you guys will see value in this, and if you know of any other candidates or whatever, we can get some new members on. We have a lot of you are rolling off whenever you look at it, 2025. So we're okay for a little bit, but we'd also like to have some more new members as well. So I'd like it to have it where there's not so much turnover at one time. Kind of if you have, half of your team rolling off instead of all of you are basically rolling off at one time. Right. So, but back to old business. Review of recent ongoing projects. Markham Street. In case you've seen Markham Street Phase 2, that's out towards Hendricks on the north end of that, is approaching completion. That's going to better connect Hendricks from downtown. We talked about, Keith, about reviewing connectivity. We'll take a look at that once that's done. We'll start looking at some connectivity around Hendricks and Hendricks Village.
Just a point real fast. It's on bicycle master plan. I think it was page 15, since we have copies. And it actually talked about those routes that
Yeah,
it's down on the bottom of
yeah.
page 15.
Hendricks to Hendricks Village.
So I thought, just as we even did last year, as we looked for things to do, I thought, well, let's just finish this list right here
Yeah,
and make it, because kind of that complete streets idea was, because you look at the trails in Walmart Marketplace or Neighborhood Market, the
Yeah.
Walmart on the west, and you go to the east, the Walmart over here by the interstate, doesn't really have great connectivity. You get on the road, you get off, and it's kind of that same area that Moulton,
yeah,
Old Moulton Highway and 65, that's, you try to cross that or go down to Donaghy, like I did the other day going to the bike repair shop. I was on my bike and it's like, you better play pedestrian.
Oh, yeah,
You're not riding across there.
yeah.
yeah,
Especially when they're going, you're headed west and you're going north to get up on the 65.
Yeah.
They're going 50 miles an hour.
yeah.
I mean, there's islands that are sort of safe, but I just played pedestrian. It was like, there's no way. I think somebody had made a comment on that earlier. To get north, Conway north and 65 and get up in that way.
Yeah,
That's reasonable. I mean, you be real certain
Yeah.
you can do it.
yeah,
It's like, I wouldn't ride my bike up 65 past the movie theaters and
Mm-mm.
go to Greenbrier that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And
Yeah,
it's ridden before, just like a
Longer.
couple blocks on it, just to get from one point.
yeah,
Oh,
Well, that was what my thought was.
Yeah.
Is if we look at something like that, that's already in the plan, as we look through the plans.
well, and I think whenever we start talking about new business, that may come back up, so we'll put a pin in that for a second. The next ongoing project, the Hairston Lane Blocks, is a protected bike lane system that we're looking at that should be in production. I looked at the proofs. That's been a month ago that I looked at the proofs, and they should be in production. And we got to have warm weather, which feels like is coming. So
It's almost here.
one of the things we're working with the street department to do is to kind of do a study before we put down the lane blocks. We're going to put up some counters and just count activity in the bike lanes on Hairston, and then we're going to count activity for 30 days or so after we put up the protected the lane blocks, just to see if activity goes up. One of the things that we'll ask is if you're a cyclist, we want people to ride them. Ask your friends to ride them, whatever, and tell us if you feel safer, riding them. We're trying to find out if it's a viable solution for protected bike lanes. Jeremy Chrysler, the former BPAB chair, one of our very own, kind of designed these things and believes in them so much that to put them into production and work with the city of Conway, he actually had to step down from his role. So I applaud Jeremy for doing that. He's not here. Hopefully he's watching and understands that we thank him for that. I think it can be a big tool of change whenever you look at if it does make people feel safer, how fast they can be put down and protect a bunch of bike lanes, and how cost effective it will be across Conway. If it's so, this will kind of be a pilot or a study. They're going down. Sherwood is invested in them too, so we'll at least Sherwood will be providing Jeremy with some of that information. So that should be happening once we receive them, probably within 30 to 60 days of the product being received. They'll start to get installed. It'll just be on Hairston from Donaghy to Front Street. That little, I don't know, what's that, little 3/8 of a mile section there.
Terry, is there going to be any kind of communication plan or something that lets the public know what's going on there?
Yeah. We'll work with the city social media and everything, get some communication out to the general public, and also some education on what they're for. So
I think you could probably pitch that nationally too, since it's made right here.
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
concede that, the idea, concede
Yeah.
here.
Well, the idea is to see if it's feasible. So they're not NACTA approved. NACTA, it's a National Association of whatever, something transportation, whatever, but that's like the certified things, like you see the bollards on Donaghy and things like that, but those don't, the problem with those, we can't clean the bike lanes. And so debris gets in the bike lanes and we can't get it out. And, we looked at the cost of machines to clean that, and they're $200,000, $250,000 a piece. You'll need two of them. You'll need even more, the more bike lanes. It's just not cost effective with the lane blocks. The goal is hopefully that it keeps the cars out of the bike lanes, but we can still clean the bike lanes. So a lot of you have heard the pitch or whatever, so I'm kind of just rephrasing. So if you could picture them, it's basically a little block that it's really annoying to drive over. And so it'll just keep cars in the lane. It'll also slow down traffic potentially, because the more you narrow that road up and make it look narrow, the cars are going to travel a few miles an hour slower, which is going to make it even more safe for cyclists. So that's the idea with that. Any questions on that before I move on? The mountain bike trail at Pompey Veterans Park, the paving was done, the equipment's moved. We just got to do some confirmation on, make sure that they're done with that project. And then there's a mountain bike trail in there that's about 9/10 of a mile long, pretty popular, but it's basically been under construction for the last, 7 or 8 months. So that will be hopefully repaired early spring and put back to where you can traverse and do the whole loop again. So the next thing, it's not really old business anymore. The bike-friendly community, congratulations. Conway is a silver bike-friendly community.
Yeah.
So we upgraded from bronze. We've been a bronze bike-friendly community since 2011. And so we were upgraded, and we're the only silver in Central Arkansas. There's only one other silver. Bentonville was just promoted to silver, and Fayetteville is gold. So there's only one other city that's higher than us. And across the country, there's only 38 or 39 other cities that are higher than us. So,
And the city that's higher than us here, the city that we're the same as is known as the mountain biking capital.
yeah.
So it's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So with the help of people like you, we're doing some amazing things, especially whenever you consider, what we're doing it with, and we're kind of scrappy. So we don't have people writing big checks.
Right. We don't have Walmart money.
So very proud of that. And again, that's something just so for everyone that bike friendly, we reviewed that application together in this room, and that's through your help. So everyone should be proud of that. Any questions on the old business? Okay.
The city to put up signs up everywhere.
Yeah, so that's the next step.
Congress needs to make signs.
I emailed with the League of American Cyclists today. They mailed the plaque and everything, and it got returned somehow in the mail. So I gave them my home address to make sure. So we'll get that, and then we'll start working on getting the signs replaced. With the street department, will be doing that. So we'll work on the signs. So.
That's pretty cool.
New business. So whenever you look on the agenda and the new business upcoming, I kind of wanted to streamline our workflow, and this part is important, and I need your feedback. So we will continue planning and feedback with the city of Conway on streets. They'll have, whether it's roundabouts or other projects that come up, whenever they have plans, they'll let us review them, provide any input from a bike and pedestrian, kind of take on things that we can submit. We'll continue that. I just wanted to have a focus here. So one of the things we need to do is review and update the bicycle master plan, which is contained in this binder. Would like to work on safe routes to schools, and the best way to do that is school by school. I would love to just use a scattergun approach, but it won't work. We have to educate each school, bring them on board, and get them safe routes to school, and then you move on to the next one.
So what happened?
Yeah.
What happened on last year? We were talking about two specific schools. Whether it was Courtway and Moore.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happened on that.
It just kind of died. Like
Yeah.
we talked about it, but no activity was ever done.
Okay.
So we can. One of the things, whenever I get to the end of this, I'm going to ask you guys your input on what we want, what you as a group, you guys can vote on it, and we can pick one of these that we're going to work on, and we'll just start checking these off.
Well, that was for that National Bike to School Day specifically, wasn't
Yeah, like early October, and
it?
then
Yeah.
something came up. We were kind of late to the party a little bit.
I think it just came down to where we were meeting, and then the bike to school day was happening, and there was not enough time for us to engage with the schools and get it done. So this, hopefully with some forethought, depending on what we work on, we can be a little bit more prepared for that next year, and be able to be a little bit more effective with it. The other, creating a bike-friendly community action plan based on feedback from the League of America. I asked the League today for when are we going to get our report card? So we were silver, but we should get a report card that will tell us things that we need to work on to improve. Just from filling out the application, we need more bike-friendly businesses and stuff like that, and the Chamber's been a big partner in that. So just keep that in mind as you're visiting local businesses. If it looks like something that we can engage, don't be afraid to have a conversation with them and all of that. So one of the big things is a Vision Zero strategy, which is what we talked about, like Kimby said, trying to prevent accidents. It's basically a proactive plan on how to address problem areas and improve them, and hopefully limit deaths, serious injuries among users, and while promoting healthy, equitable mobility across our city. My vision for Conway is that it's not just recreation. Whenever you visit other places like Fayetteville that are gold, the one thing you notice, people are riding their bikes to work. It is a way of life, and it's one less car on the road. So anyhow, so those are some of the priorities that I would like the board to focus on, and I'd like to hear from y'all on what you would like to tackle from that little list and kind of work on.
I was talking to, it was arkansas.safestreets.com or something. It's a 4-county program that they're making a safety action plan.
Yeah.
It was Faulkner, Pulaski, I don't know if it was Lone Oak, I forget the other 2 counties. Yeah. And right now, there's a site you could go to and put little red dots on the map where you thought this is an unsafe area.
Yeah.
Or a yellow dot if it were.
That's the Vision Zero.
Yeah, so that's the draft's coming out to end of April. Yeah. And then they're going to continue working that. So, I mean, I know a little bit about it, talked to a couple of those guys. I don't mind looking at that. So, just for, just like you said, you don't want to make your city known as a pedestrian death zone.
Right. And I don't know to think of something that's maybe, as I sit here and think through this, like that Vision Zero plan is big. I'm wondering if that's something that we shouldn't have the bicycle master plan updated before we start that. So just something to think of, but I don't think it would take a terrible amount of time to do it. So it's here in the binder, but again, I don't want to. If you guys say you want to do safe routes to schools, I'm all in. we'll start working on safe routes to school, and I'll kind of start prepping some of the other stuff behind the scenes. So what do you think?
Well, I think maybe the overarching goal could be to update the bicycle master plan, which includes incorporating the safe routes to school, reviewing the, hold on, you have it on here. I feel like some of those other things feed into that. So I feel like once we review a report card, that will automatically go into the new plan. So I feel like that should be our a big priority because everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
I agree. I underlined it already, thinking
Okay.
that's kind of the crux that other stuff feeds into.
Yeah.
Because what is that, was that 2018?
16.
I didn't look at
I think it's
the
2017.
16 for this one.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
COVID didn't help us, but
Yeah.
Makes sense to do it every time we get a new level.
Basically the end of
It's true.
2016. And a ton of stuff. And one of the things that will be interesting when we update the master plan is we need to take the Connect Conway, the RAISE grant, and look at that, how that, and fit that into the master plan, because one of the things that we need to do is make sure we're thinking about connecting all these, because we'll have this awesome greenway once that's done, but we're going to need to make sure that we're thinking ahead and connecting, finding ways to connect to the greenway in advance of that. Whether, that RAISE grant is going to be transformational to Conway and introduce a ton of people to pedestrian, cycling, commuting. You'll be able to get east to west Conway finally. So
I want to make sure we keep working on building awareness of cyclists to the people that aren't cyclists. And, the safety of the cyclists is, us knowing what to do is one thing, and having the people in the cars knowing what to do is another thing. So I know this group has done awareness campaigns in the past. And so I don't know if that's where that lies, but I figure it lies under one of these. And another thing I was thinking about too is when you think about us in Northwest Arkansas, you look at like Airbnbs or anything. I mean, so many of them up there show the bike racks that the place has, or they say bike friendly or whatever. That becomes a part of the language to sell that area. And so I don't know what we need to do is, getting with the real estate group or whatever, just having those conversations to make sure that places that can house our visitors also promote the cycling.
that kind of goes into like the bike friendly business.
Okay. Yes.
So I think that's something that we can roll up under like the bike friendly business, and I'll have to talk to the chamber about that. I'm sure they have connections within that Airbnb community and the realtors and everything. So would you guys like to vote on, anybody like to propose a vote on the updating the master plan first?
I propose that's number one.
Number one. Anybody second?
Second.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll kick off. We'll start prepping for that. And we'll get you some more information, and we'll just basically kind of set that out. As we kind of go through that, a lot of it, I think, I'll probably sit down outside of the meeting. I don't want to take time to assign anything here, but I just encourage everyone to read through this over the next, say, if everyone can read through it within the next week or so, and then I'll give you some information, and then maybe we just assign the categories, like take a look at these paragraphs and each, like, consider updates and stuff. So I'll get you more information on that, as far as on how we're going to go about updating that master plan. One thing too that we normally have done for new business too, normally our members, everyone kind of, whenever you introduce yourselves, we talked about like what our background was. We like to have some folks that represent pedestrians, some that are bicycle, and you don't necessarily have to have a school affiliation, but somebody that might be, if we need some contact or help with schools, that somebody was kind of representing on the BPAB board for schools. So is who here would like to be involved in represent pedestrian? All right. Medina, pedestrian.
I haven't lifted back yet.
So I don't mind being both, because remember we had that discussion because we all were listed as bicycles. We walk just as much as,
Okay.
I live over by Hendricks, and you got that Hendricks Preserve. That's all pretty much walking paths, and people bring their dogs over. There's a few bikes on it, but it's really a walking path. So I don't mind if you could be dual-legged.
Yeah, I put you down for dual, and then I'll take a look at the bylaws and make sure I don't see a problem with that. And then is everyone else cycling? Anyone want to raise their hand for schools or?
Well, my grandkids go to two schools, and my son's a teacher at one school.
So how about if we did, you did bike and school instead of pedestrian, and then or no, we'll leave you pedestrian and schools.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe pedestrian in schools, if that's okay. And Lori, cycling. Kaylin, cycling.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Carol,
Yes.
Kimby.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Do we need another schools rep? Like, do you want to tag team the schools too?
Well, I was going to ask a question on it. One of them goes to elementary school, and the other one is middle school.
Yeah.
So
I think
both on the
really-
east side of town.
Yeah.
So I think we had an elementary and a middle school targeted.
We did, yeah, we'll go back through the minutes and look, whenever we had those targeted for like routes for bike to school day, I think, if I recall, and so we can go back and look at the notes. So basically, as a school representative, it'd just be kind of whenever helping with contact with the schools and stuff as we reach out and start coming up with safe routes to schools and things like that. Just being kind of a partner, a thought partner, and somebody to represent if the community comes in and wants to talk. Like you'd be the representative they would talk to.
So I guess one little question: do we want to target elementary or middle schools? Or,
well, I think
I wouldn't. Both are options. Is there a better? We do one of each and see how it works.
so. What I will tell you is you'll see more bikes in middle schools than you do elementary schools. A lot of folks don't feel comfortable, and we're getting better with the infrastructure. But this is going to be kind of like going door to door and getting buy-in if we're going to do elementary schools.
Yeah.
I think we can have a lot of success with middle schools because kids tend to follow one another, right? Like if you get a couple kids to start riding their bikes, then the next thing you know, there's like 5 more kids the next day. It becomes the cool thing to do. So I've watched my son's school. He rides to school, and I've watched that bike rack at school go from 2 to 3 bikes on a consistent basis to where now it's full.
That's awesome.
And it's
So he's
just
middle school.
Yeah, he's middle school. And so I think we can have that impact relatively quickly and then have success stories that we can start going to elementary. Elementary, what I think, I've mentioned the All Kids Bike program that we have. You've heard me talk about it in the past. We have it in 2 schools. I would like to work on, and then this is me working on this, getting more of those programs in all of our elementary schools. Cabot has done that. All 9 elementary schools in Cabot have this All Kids. So so they're teaching them how to ride bikes in elementary school, and then they transition the bike from a balance bike to a pedal kit, and then they're teaching them to ride in elementary school PE.
So they have the bikes.
Yeah, and so they get, it's like 35 or 40 bikes that they get, and along with training for the PE teacher and everything to do it. The PE teacher even gets an adult strider bike so they can demonstrate the whole thing. That's something I'd like to do in Conway. That once we start doing that, then the kids are going to know how to ride. Then we can start trying to get elementary kids to ride.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
What I would tell you right now, the statistic is 40% of 4th graders nationally do not know how to ride a bicycle.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
mind blowing. I believe you. It's just like, what?
It's sad.
Yeah.
so
Get on your bike and go somewhere.
that's something that I'm doing, and you guys will continue to hear about. And we get some help from Northwest Arkansas, the Northwest Arkansas Trailblazers. Whenever they have money available, they matched 50% of the program that we've put in 2 of our Conway schools already. So there's that. That's kind of my thought process on it, on that. If we're going to do, as we do the safe routes and stuff, that we should do middle school first.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking.
So we assigned roles. How are we doing on time?
18 minutes.
Dang good.
All right. We're moving too fast. All right. So one thing too, if you look, there's a calendar in here that has all the dates on it. One of the questions I'd like to propose to y'all is our March meeting, where we always meet the 3rd Thursday. We moved it because I was out of town last week, so thank you for being accommodating. But then as I look at this scheduled dates, the next meeting falls in spring break, which may or may not make it tough to meet quorum. Would you all like to, since we're here and present, can we talk about potentially moving that meeting to another date that would work for everybody, or?
So you're talking March.
Yeah. It falls smack in the middle of spring break.
So move it down a week or move it up a week?
We can move it up a week or down a week.
So I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
Chamber annual meeting is the Thursday the 14th.
Okay.
But
I'm like, let her know. I kind of want to, but I thought about mentioning that, but I'm not sure yet.
I would like to avoid that in case, because that's something that I would,
it's a big deal.
yeah. So maybe move it back a week.
28th works for me.
28.
Me too.
Not that I have a ticket.
Anybody second that?
I'm out.
You're out on the 28th? Okay.
Yeah.
It was to the 28th.
How about everybody else? Kimby can't make it, but if we have everybody else, we still have quorum.
I'm good for 28.
So the quorum is 5 or
Oh,
6?
you have to move it because it's on my phone. I can't.
4.
Yeah, the 28. Okay.
So you good, Kaylin?
Yeah, that works for me. The 28th.
Lori, how about you?
Yes.
We're sticking with Thursdays though?
The Thursday, the 28th?
Okay, well, I was saying if there are alternate days, we could consider.
I mean, we
Kimby, but
could move it to an alternate day. I'm just
I'm not
saying,
gonna mess people up, but.
yeah. I was thinking if we just did a week or
Yeah,
whatever, but I'm open to, Wednesdays are tough night because a lot of people have church or whatever. Fridays obviously are not any good. Mondays are bad. So.
And I can't do Tuesdays because my husband had, well, I could bring my son if we did Tuesdays, but yeah, okay.
We'd be buddies.
Yeah. Okay, so never mind, whatever you are. 28 does work for me. I just was
Okay.
asking.
All right. So it sounds like if everyone can make it, but can be, we'll have it on the 28th. If something changes, we'd love to have you, but
Yeah, I'll be in Vegas, so I doubt it's gonna change.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
I didn't hear what she said. What did you say?
Oh, you're in Vegas. Oh. Oh, yes.
Girl. Send it over to you.
You'll be thinking of us.
I'll be thinking.
I'm going to give you $20 to put on red.
I know, right?
All right, so we'll move that to the 28th. I'll update the invite. And then I'll update too, because we will take off, say in the past, we've taken off July and December, right? So we can cross that. Yeah, July 18th, we won't meet. It's just a heavy vacation month. And then we typically take off that December since it's fallen just before Christmas. And so that would set our next meeting would be March 28th, April 18th, May 16th, June 20th, and on down the calendar. So that's all I have on there for today. I just wanted to set expectations, get your thoughts on what we want to work on, do the introductions and all that. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the order?
It's not a frustrating meeting.
Appreciate that. So the homework, the takeaways, I'll send you like a follow-up email, just reminding you, like, read the bylaws and then take a look at the master plan and just, you don't have to know like the back of your hand, just kind of get familiar with it. And then I will work on, over the next 7 days or so, I will work on a plan on how we're going to tackle this master plan.
Okay.
And I will email that to you and probably send you, everyone in the group, a text saying, check your emails. And then we'll kind of tackle it that way. And then we'll have, by the time we meet March 28th, hopefully we can have like a really good idea of what we're going to do and get a little bit of work done in that meeting on the master plan.
Awesome.
So, sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds
All right.
And thanks for this binder. Everything's so, I love
I love it.
Yeah, that's so nice.
We take that or we leave that? What do we do?
That's yours to take. Just
Okay, just didn't know if you needed that.
Yeah.
I guess you'll give us stuff.
yeah, that's yours to take. It's got your homework in it. All right. Well, thanks again for all that you have done. A lot of you have been on the board a while, and welcome, Kimby.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you on Strava?
I am.
It's fun.
I'll do my cycle.
So, all right. Does I make a move to adjourn? Is that a French word?
Second.
Second.
There was somebody second it?
Yeah. All right.